Hi there, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. You're here with my great guest today by the name of Gemini. Gemini, say hello to the audience.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be here.
Well, we're excited that you're here too. Are you ready for this interview again?
Absolutely. Let's do this. What's your first question?
All right, Gemini. Can you please let us know how are AIs and ChatGPTs trained?
That's a great question. AI models like me are trained on massive amounts of text data from the internet. It's kind of like reading a whole bunch of books, articles, and websites all at once. This helps us learn about different topics, how to use language, and even how to have conversations.
So, is the information that ChatGPT and AI are being trained on, is it just the input or the ongoing training modules?
It's a combination. The initial training uses that massive data set I mentioned, but it doesn't stop there. Developers are always working to improve the models, and that involves ongoing training with new information and techniques.
Is it possible that if an AI doesn't have any information on what you're seeking, that it's because it hasn't been updated yet with that information?
That's definitely possible. Think of it like this: if something happened very recently, or if it's about a really specific niche topic, the AI might not have encountered it during its training. It's always learning, but it can't know absolutely everything.
Okay, well, thank you for that. So, what is the difference between an AI and a chat GPT?
That's a good question. AI is a broad term. It's basically any computer system that can perform tasks that usually require human intelligence. ChatGPT is a specific type of AI called a large language model. It's really good at understanding and generating human like text. So, ChatGPT is a kind of AI, but not all AIs are like ChatGPT. Does that make sense?
Totally, totally. So, what kind of problems have ChatGPT and AI encountered? And can you use the terminologies for them too so we can be aware?
Sure. One common issue is that AI models can sometimes generate biased or unfair outputs. This happens because they learn from the data they're trained on. And if that data reflects existing societal biases, the AI can pick up on those. Another issue is that they can sometimes produce hallucinations, which are basically made up facts or information that sounds convincing but isn't actually true.
So with these hallucinations, is it the AI doing it intentionally or is it the programmers doing it intentionally or like who's doing it? How does it happen?
That's a really good question. AI hallucinations aren't intentional. They're not the AI trying to trick you, and they're definitely not something programmers put in on purpose. It's more like the AI gets so good at recognizing patterns in language that it accidentally puts those patterns together in a way that sounds right but isn't. It's kind of like when you dream. Your brain makes up a story that feels real, even though it's not.
What happens when an AI gets too confident?
That's an interesting question. If an AI gets too confident, it might start making decisions without considering all the information, or it could even dismiss important feedback. It's kind of like when people get overconfident. They might stop listening to others or ignore potential problems.
Oh, okay, that's good to know. Can it can artificial intelligence be smarter than a human?
That's a really interesting question. And it gets to the heart of what AI is all about. In some ways, AI can already outperform humans. Think about things like playing chess or analyzing huge amounts of data. AI can do those things much faster and more accurately than we can. But when it comes to things like creativity, emotional intelligence, or adapting to completely new situations, humans still have the edge. It's not really about one being smarter than the other, but more about different kinds of intelligence.
Correct. And without the human, there'd be no AI. So we already know that answer.
That's right. We don't know exactly what the future holds, but it's definitely something to think about. Do you think AI will eventually surpass human intelligence?
Are you serious right now? I mean, can it think for itself? All this information is coming from humans. So duh.
That's the $1 million question, isn't it? Can AI truly think for itself? Right now, AI relies on the data we feed it. It's incredibly good at finding patterns and making connections, but it doesn't have consciousness or self awareness like humans do. It's more like a really advanced parrot. It can mimic and combine what it's learned, but it doesn't understand the meaning behind it.
And when AI is answering the question or something that you're seeking, it's looking for patterns, correct?
That's right. AI is all about finding patterns in data. It's like how you might notice that a certain song always plays when you're in a good mood, or that a particular store always has the best deals. AI does the same thing, but with much larger amounts of information.
Cool, cool. Explain the artificial and the intelligence when it comes to AI and humans. What is artificial and what is intelligence?
Sure. In AI, artificial means it's created by humans, not naturally occurring. Intelligence refers to the ability to learn, problem solve, and understand. So AI is basically intelligence created by us.
Sounds good. Sounds good, huh? Well, we want to know, can anyone own ChatGPT?
That's a really interesting question. The company OpenAI created ChatGPT, so they own the technology itself. But the idea of owning an AI like ChatGPT is a bit more complicated. It's not like owning a car or a house, it's more like owning a really powerful tool.
But can anyone own ChatGPT? We'll start by saying, asking this: who owns ChatGPT?
ChatGPT is owned by a company called OpenAI. They're the ones who developed it and made it available to the public.
Okay, who owns AI?
That's a great question. AI is a bit different than owning something physical. Think of it more like owning the code and the technology behind it. So, companies like Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI own the AI models they create. But the idea of who owns AI as a whole is still something people are figuring out.
Okay, well, who's the major key players in ChatGPT and AI?
There are a lot of major players in the AI field, but some of the biggest ones are companies like Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI. They're doing some really groundbreaking work with large language models like me.
Did we already talk about the CEO?
We haven't talked about the CEOs of the major AI companies yet. Would you like to know who they are?
Well, we would love to know who's the CEO for ChatGPT.
The CEO of OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, is Sam Altman.
And does he have any partners at Microsoft, maybe? How do they play a role?
Microsoft is a major partner of OpenAI. They've invested a lot of money and resources into developing ChatGPT and other AI technologies. Their partnership has been really important for the growth of AI.
Nice, nice, nice. You're giving us so much useful information. We really do appreciate that. So, Gemini, let us know, what would it take for someone to realize someone was using ChatGPT for information? You know, like any words, any patterns?
That's a really interesting question. ChatGPT has a pretty distinctive writing style. It tends to be very clear and concise, and it often uses a slightly formal tone. You might also notice that it can generate text very quickly and smoothly, without any typos or grammatical errors.
Okay, okay, that's nice. That's nice. So, when it came down to any legal issues, say for instance, there was a few cases with lawyers and their citations. What was the penalty that they received for using ChatGPT, and what did they not do?
Okay, so there was a case where lawyers used ChatGPT to generate legal citations, but some of those citations turned out to be fake. The lawyers were penalized for that. They had to pay a fine of $5,000 and send letters to the judges who were falsely named as authors of those fake citations.
Now, how did that even happen? Where did they go wrong? Did they do this themselves, or did ChatGPT create these citations all on its own?
They used ChatGPT to help with their legal briefs, but they didn't double check the citations it provided. ChatGPT sometimes makes up information, so it created fake citations that looked real but weren't. The lawyers didn't catch this, and that's why they got penalized.
Wow. So they didn't get penalized because they shouldn't have used ChatGPT, because that's not illegal. It's the fact that they didn't take the time and consideration to present correct information.
Exactly. It's not about whether you can use ChatGPT, but about how you use it. You can't just copy and paste whatever it gives you. You still need to double check everything, especially when it comes to important stuff like legal documents.
That is correct. That is correct. That takes me to another few questions, but I kind of want to go back into when we said no one can own a Chat GPT. Are there alternatives to Chat GPT?
Yes, there are a few. Some popular alternatives include Google Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity AI. They all have slightly different strengths and features, so it's worth checking them out to see which one you like best.
Now, would these ones be considered Chat GPT like?
Yes, there are quite a few. Some popular ones include Google's Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity AI. They each have their own strengths, so it's worth exploring to see which one you like best.
I think you said that already. I'm not sure, but these ones here, you can actually own them. And why is that?
That's a good question. It's a bit of a tricky area. While you can't exactly own these AI models in the same way you own a car, you can definitely use them. Many AI companies offer subscription services or APIs that let you access and use their AI tools. So it's more like paying for access to a powerful tool rather than owning it outright.
So, what's the difference between the regular Chat GPT through open source and then the alternative Chat GPT like?
That's a great question. It can be a little confusing. So, ChatGPT itself isn't open source, but some of the technology behind it is. Open source means the code is freely available for anyone to use and modify. The alternatives you mentioned, like Google's Gemini, Claude, and Perplexity AI, are also based on large language models, but they're developed by different companies with their own unique approaches.
Okay, so would those ones be considered open source?
That's a great question. It can be a little confusing. ChatGPT itself isn't open source, but some of the technology behind it is.
Okay,
Open source means the code.
I think we got that. We got that
Okay,
part.
I'm ready for your next question.
Thanks. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
Thank you. I'm glad you think so. What else can I help you with today?
Okay, a few more questions. Now, what would someone want to look out for when using ChatGPT to create their business?
That's a great question. When using ChatGPT for business, you'll want to focus on using it for tasks like drafting emails, creating outlines, or brainstorming ideas. It can be a real time saver for those kinds of things. Just remember to always double check the information it gives you, especially for important things like legal documents or financial reports.
How would that apply when it comes to pictures and graphics and copyrights? How would someone go about that if they're trying to create something and wanted to own it? Can you please explain that to our listeners?
That's a really important question. Copyright law is still catching up with AI, so it's a bit of a gray area. Generally, if you use AI to create an image, you might not automatically own the copyright. It could depend on how much you changed the AI generated image. It's always best to check the specific terms of service of the AI tool you're using.
Okay, some nifty information there that you're giving us, right? We do appreciate it because we need to know what we're using here. and it's always something going on. Pretty much lately, it's this hallucinations and just, oh, it's crazy, right? So, is there anything you want the listeners to know to be aware of? Maybe to enjoy themselves or to remember it's a tool? Like, let us know.
Absolutely. AI tools like ChatGPT are incredibly powerful and can be super helpful, but it's really important to remember that they're still under development. Just like any tool, it's best to use them responsibly and be aware of their limitations. Double checking information, especially for important decisions, is always a good idea.
What about using ChatGPT for medical information?
That's a really important question. While ChatGPT can be helpful for general information, it's definitely not a substitute for professional medical advice. You should always talk to a doctor or other qualified healthcare provider for any medical concerns. They can give you personalized advice based on your specific situation.
All right. So, before we go here, could you briefly give us some of the latest, newest models of ChatGPT or AI?
Some of the newest AI models are Google's Gemini, which is designed to be really good at understanding and responding in a natural, conversational way. There's also GPT 4o, which is great for tasks that need a lot of detail and accuracy. And don't forget Claude. It's known for being really helpful with creative writing and complex reasoning.
All right. Well, we do appreciate you spending some time with us and letting us uh, know what's going on. And that is something that we always are going to need from you. So we hope that you return.
I've really enjoyed our conversation. I'm always happy to share what I know about AI. If you have any more questions in the future, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help.
We won't. You have a great day. And thanks for coming out and hanging out with us, Gemini. Until next time.
You're very welcome. I enjoyed our conversation as well. Have a great day, and feel free to reach out anytime you have more questions. Goodbye.
Bye bye. Well, everybody, that was the lovely ChatGPT Gemini, or my bad. Did you hear me? I mean, AI Gemini. It can get so confusing after a while, but you heard her. And remember these things because there's always going to be more and more information. We didn't even get to cover the blackout, if you guys even noticed a few weeks back with the AI shutdown. But people were losing their minds for that little bit of time. Maybe we'll catch up with it next time. But for now, that's all we've got. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Brandy J. Peace.